Hey, it's Carmina. My phone is not working today, so I have to improvise. So I'm hoping, there you go, it's a little better. I'm hoping it's gonna work on the computer itself. So happy Monday, everybody. A new week, a new beginning, a new chance to start anew. So as always, I am so delighted to be here with you this evening, and we're starting a little late today. Um, and to be honest, this is going to be probably the norm. September starts like a really busy season at work for me, so I'm not going to be able to chime in as often as I would like, but we're going to make the most of the time we have together. And today I have a very special topic to talk to you about. It's not so much a training, more of a chat, if you would. So as you are coming in, please give me a thumbs up or hello so I know that you're here. I'm doing it for the kind of first time on directly from a computer, so I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. So hopefully you can hear me and you can see me okay. If that's not the case, please let me know. All right. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is dwelling in the land of possibilities. And the reason that came to mind is because yesterday I was kind of talking to a group of my coaching clients, and I was telling them that story of how last year I was faced with a challenge which felt so impossible to me, and kind of sharing with them the lessons I got along the way. So I thought it would be a cool thing to share with you too. So, and I'm curious if you've ever were you ever faced with something, a challenge, a task, a goal that, downright felt there's no way, there's just no way this is going to happen. And that kind of stopped you dead in your tracks for a bit. So that's a bit what happened to me last year. Last year, I decided, where I was coerced into doing the Avon 39. So Avon 39 is a 39-mile race for a very good cause. It's for breast cancer research funding. And I was coerced by my good friend who really encouraged me to sign up for it. And I have to tell you, at the time, hey Nate, how are you? Good to have you here. The furthest distance I had accomplished or raced at that point was about 6 miles. So I've done 10Ks. I've done a couple of 10Ks. I've done a lot of 5Ks, which is just three miles. But the thought of, walking 39 miles felt downright impossible. And I kind of want to tell you how my belief system went from it is not possible to I'm actually doing it, right? And the reason I bring this up is because I know, especially when it comes to weight loss or your health, or, it may sometimes feel like there's no way out. Like it's just an impossible task, right? And the easiest route is to just throw hands in the air and say that's not doable. So I'm just going to settle where I am and just be okay with it. Well, last year my friend approached me and she was gung-ho about doing this race. I have to tell you, she runs marathons, so it was not as daunting to her as it was to me. But nonetheless, I was persuaded and I signed up for it. But for months, I didn't do anything. about it. I was supposed to train, I was supposed to raise money for it, because that's one of the ways that you qualify for the race, is by raising a certain amount of money. And I just didn't do any of it. I was so, again, in my head, I just thought that there's just no way Carmina, can walk 39 miles over the course of 2 days. Like, I'm not even going to get through a quarter of it. It's going to be like dead in the road or something. So, and it's really interesting the way she got me into it. So, and I'm just curious, has any of you ever done an organized race, whether it's a 5K or a 10K, a marathon? Curious if anybody has had the experience of, signing up and doing a race, whether you ran it, whether you walked it. For me at the time, it was, pretty intimidating. I had in my mind that one day, maybe, perhaps, I would do a marathon, but never had it entered my mind that I would go from where I was, which was barely 6 miles, to a 39 mile. And the way she approached it was very, very interesting. So, by the way, there is a delay between the time I ask a question and the time you reply. So if you replied and I'm not acknowledging your answer, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because it takes some time for me to see it. So anyway, so she was very smart. So she realized that I wasn't doing anything about the race. So at some point, she called me up and she was casually making conversations and asking about my progress. And, I fessed up. I'm like, I've not been doing anything. And so she said, well, why don't you start by walking 30, just go out for a walk, just see how long it takes you to do it, because then that will give you an idea of how long it will take you to finish the actual race. And I took her advice. I did it for a few days. And, I got into it. I was walking. The weather was nice. So I was enjoying, whenever you put your body in motion, naturally, you're going to feel better. You cannot be in a bad mood after moving your body. So anyway, so I did it for a few days, and then she caught up with me again. She's like, well, okay, how did you do? I'm like, I'm okay. I'm averaging about 12, 15 minutes for 30 minutes, 12, 15 minutes for about 2 miles. It's like, oh, that's pretty good. That's a pretty respectable pace. So why don't you try walking like a 3 mile one of those Saturdays? I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. I've done that before. So I did. So do you see what she was doing? She was building upon success, right? So she started with something that was so easy to do that I could not do it. And then she convinced me that I could go back and repeat a success that I've already had, which was doing a 3 mile walk. I've done that many, many times. So fine, I did that. And then she followed up a few weeks after, and then she got me to do a 6 miles. And then from the 6 miles, weeks and weeks later, I got to 10 miles. And I have to tell you, once I got to the 10 miles, my disbelief barrier started to get broken. Because once I realized that I could go, walk straight for 10 miles straight, I realized, well, if I can do 10 miles, I can do 12. If I can do 12, I can do 15. If I can do 15, I can do 20. And that's where I got at my training. I got to the point where I was walking 20 miles in one. It took me hours to complete that 20 miles. But you know what it did? It gave, hey, if I can do 20 miles in one go, I bet you I can do 26. If I can do 26 in one day. So the lesson for me in so witnessing the breast cancer survivors, a lot of them, there were a lot of breast cancer survivors actually doing the race. And I had the honor of walking with one of them during the entire race. So that was very powerful. And what that brought to light is really there are no goals that you cannot accomplish. There's three things I feel you need, right? The first one, you need a real good reason to do it. And that's one thing that I keep reinforcing with my coaching clients is that weight loss in itself has never inspired anybody, right? It's not the fact of losing weight itself that's going to get you out the door, that's going to get you to make the good choices. It's the goal, it's the reason why, the motivating factor that you attach to that goal, right? And for some of us, that motivating factor could be as simple as I want to look good in a bikini, or I want to look good in my next high school reunion, right? There's a pride and ego factor that goes into it, and that's powerful enough. For some of us, we couldn't care less what other people think about us. So we need to dig deeper and find a stronger reason, right? For some of us, it might be because we want the energy to keep up with our kids. We want the energy to be able to enjoy activities with our families. We want the libido, right, to spice things up with our partner. We want the energy to decorate our house the way we want to. We want the energy to go after a career that we're really passionate about, or within the career that we have, really take on challenging projects so that we can climb up the ranks. So whatever it is, right? Weight loss in itself is not the goal. What is the goal is that motivating factor. And oftentimes I find that people have a hard time staying consistent when they are focusing on the big outcome goal. So for example, a big outcome goal for you could be that you want to lose 30, 50 pounds, let's say, right? But that outcome goal, if that is what you're measuring, you're going to get discouraged and you're not going to be very motivated by it. So what I recommend is looking at what are some action goals that you can have along the way that you can measure, because those action goals are totally within what you can control. Because the outcome goal of 30, 50 pounds, really, you can be weeks where you're doing everything by the book and the scale just is not bulging, right? There's nothing you can do about that. However, whether or not you're moving your body, whether or not, right? And so along your journey, making those your goals is far more effective than looking at that outcome goal and getting discouraged because you're not reaching it. Okay, so to that point, there was a story that I heard the other day from one of my mentors, and he was paraphrasing John Maxwell, who is a very famous business philosopher. And John Maxwell was saying that, he was talking about the rule of five. So, and the rule of five is if you go out every day with an axe and you whack a tree 5 times, eventually that tree will fall down. Now, when people hear that, some people will be asking, well, do I have to whack the tree with an axe, or can I use a bat? Some people will go out and whack a different tree every day, right? Some people will go out and every other day or whenever they feel like it, they'll go out and whack the tree 5 times. But if you do that, you're not going to see the results. The only way you see the result, however slow it is if you whack the same tree 5 times with an axe. A bat is not going to do it. Doing it once in a while is not going to do it. Doing it to different trees is not going to do it. You have to have laser focus on that one particular goal. So anyway, I thought I would share that with you today because I know how difficult it can be sometimes to stay the course, right? Establish a goal for ourselves, and especially when it comes to health and wellness, much easier than that. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to open it up with this a little deeper. And you wanted to explore, what are the challenges that you are specifically coming up against in your journey. I would love to put aside 45 to an hour just to talk to you one-on-one. And together we can figure out what those challenges are, what are those roadblocks that are getting in the way. I would love to make some recommendation for you towards the end of the call. And, it is an open invitation. It is a pitch-free invitation for you and I to have what I call the weight loss game plan. If you'd like to spend some time with me talking about your goals and how to get to your goals, I invite you to book a conversation with me. I'm going to be putting the link in the comment area once we're done, and I look forward to connecting with you. So remember, I'm not going to be here on a Wednesday. So the next time that we get to chat is next Monday. So until then, take care of yourself, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.